Colonel Cyrus, please join us up on stage. All right. We'll begin announcing the second quarter award winners. Begin today's presentation with the airmen of the second quarter. Yep, represent the 621st Contingency Response Support Squadron, Senior Airman Jonathan Codbell.
Yeah! Big sauce.
Congratulations, man. Yes, sir. Take a picture, sorry. Cool. Congratulations.
All right. We'll go. Next up, the non-commissioned officer of the second quarter award goes to, from the 621st Contingency Response Squadron, Technical Sergeant Christopher Saunders. Adapt and overcome! All right, thank you, Sergeant Walter, for accepting the award on behalf of Sergeant Saunders.
Yeah, you don't look like
Stolen valor.
Stolen valor.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't see you. I'm sorry, sir.
Threw me off with the pictures. I'm sorry.
First time.
That's
Our
on
winner.
video.
All right. Our winner for the category of the Senior Non-Commissioned Officer of the second quarter award goes to Master Sergeant Regis Agbon from the 321st Contingency Response Squadron. He is winning the award for both the group and the way.
3, 2, 1! Mobilize the fight! Come on, in the wing.
You get two. Good job with that. That's the group. All right. I'm gonna take a picture. This one's even better than when we congratulations, man.
I mean, it doesn't look better.
The Company Grade Officer of the second quarter award goes to, from the 621st Contingency Response Squadron, Captain Glenn Gresha. Adapt and overcome! Next up, we have the Field Grade Officer of the second quarter award, also represent the 621st Contingency Response Squadron, Major Jordan Howard. Adapt and overcome!
Your fourth one.
Yeah, how many other things you got?
Good job, bro.
Next up, Civilian of the second quarter award, represent the 621st Contingency Response Support Squadron, Mr. Owen Graff.
Phoenixers! Rise above!
Rise above. Next up, volunteer the second quarter award. Receiving this award is Senior Airman Patrick Alminde from the 321st Contingency Response Squadron.
3, 2, 1! Mobilize the fight! Get some! Nice!
Hold on.
Next up is Team of the Quarter. For the second quarter, the winner is the 621st Contingency Response Squadron Plans and Programs Fight. Adapt and overcome! awards portion for the second quarter, while we have Chief Dirksen and Colonel Cyrus upstage, we would like to recognize some top performers from the Swamp Devil exercise. Will Technical Sergeant Gabrielle DiClemente, Staff Sergeant Tony Cruz, Technical Sergeant Patrick O'Hara, Technical Sergeant Michael Fisher, Staff Sergeant John Jimenez, Master Sergeant Melissa White, and Staff Sergeant Arlene Carbolito join us on stage.
All right, I'll talk more about Swamp Devil in a few minutes, but obviously these folks were recognized for the 4 different locations: Lake Charles, Alexandria, the LZ at Fort Polk, and the LZ at Camp Shelby. Obviously, all of them were recognized. They all did a superb job, each and every one of them. Obviously, performed well and above and beyond everybody else that was there. Not to say that they did everything on their own. Obviously, it was a team effort all around, and really appreciate what these folks did up on the stage. So we're going to award them with a group commander's coin, and thanks for everything that you did down there. We really appreciate it. Socially distant thing is a little awkward, isn't it?
You can just open it up, let them grab one. It's like a grab bag. I'm watching. How many are you going to grab? You're living it? Yes, sir.
Cool. Good job.
Chief Dirksen. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. You're moving right around.
Man, we're going fast. I'm sweating up here. Hey, so I'm not going to steal any of the boss's thunder on the stuff that he wants to talk about. But so I got to go do something yesterday, and it kind of, and the shirts heard me talk about this morning. It really made me think. I know the 621 is tracking this, so we had a kind of a surprise retirement ceremony for Senior Brooks yesterday, and he literally had no clue, which was good on you guys for doing that. But the thing that struck me is, so he had some videos sent in from some folks, and 2 airmen in particular who are NCOs now that knew him probably 14, 16 years ago, sent these videos in, and the one member said, you know, he made him a better man, made him a better NCO. And the other person said that he had saved his life by just the mentorship that he gave. And I'm not saying that, you know, good on Eric Brooks, he's an awesome senior NCO, but I want you all to think about the relationships that you have with the folks around you, right? At any level, at any moment in time, you could do that one thing that changes somebody's life. And it may be something as small as just being there and listening, or maybe it's something huge, and a shirt is helping you through a major family crisis. But the point is that you'll never get that instant gratification from helping somebody else out, right? You may feel that internally, hey, I did a good thing. But when you see it 16, 17 years later, how you changed somebody's life, that, to me, that was emotional. That meant a lot. And it made me think, man, when I retire, would anybody say that about me? Did I help anybody along the way? So I ask you to reflect on that. Think about that in your relationships. Suicide is still a thing, right? Talk to folks, build relationships. And it's not just all about Air Force, right? Talk to them about everything, life, relationships, money, you name it. Be a better human, right? That's what I want out of you all. Be a better human. This world could use some of that right now. So that's all I got, unless you guys have questions. The gym is still not open. That is the update that I have for you. The gym is still not open. However, plenty of real estate around this place, so if you want to catch a run, let me know. I got drenched this morning. But yeah, PT's still coming. So get after it. All right, that's all I got.
All right. So this non-standard commander's call is a little weird, right? Trying to do this thing socially distanced. Got people on Zoom. Appreciate everybody listening in. Or I'm sorry, they're on YouTube Live, right? Appreciate all the folks on YouTube Live listening in. Don't know if you had an option to come. Don't know if you had an option to listen in or not, but appreciate the fact that you're here. So having the folks up on stage for the Swamp Devil Awards, I kind of wanted to speak a little bit to all the folks and what they did. So Master Sergeant White, I know, is not here right now, but obviously we had Wing PA down at Swamp Devil. They were all over the place, if you didn't notice. If you didn't get a chance to read the Forbes article magazine that Jim Clash wrote, it was pretty good. On top of that, we had a lot of interviews going on. We had some folks on the local news in Alexandria at a minimum, and I know Chenault has some folks on the news too as well. But Sergeant White obviously doing White Cell and her first time running the PA show all by herself, so appreciate what she did. I know she got a coin. I think you picked it up for her. Let's see, Sergeant D. Clemente, our 1 Charlie 3 at Alexandria, doing things all by herself over there, running injects flawlessly, obviously. Making sure everybody got the word out for the injects up at Alexandria. Let's see, we had Sergeant Cruz, maintainer up at Alexandria, teaching some non-maintainers how to marshal aircraft. Flawless execution there. Also had some QA evals, I think, passed them all. So good job with that. Let's see, down at Lake Charles, Sergeant O'Hara, 3 Delta, got the comm up flawlessly, obviously kept the comm going for all the folks that needed to stay in communication. That's really vital, right? Our reach back, our C2. So making that happen was pretty key. Sergeant Fisher, running the port, keeping things flowing down there. If everybody that wasn't at Lake Charles, you got to see all the aircraft that were hanging out down there. We had a C5, which is pretty non-standard for us. We had 2 C-17s down there, one from Dover, one from McGuire. And then we had 2 Dias 130s, 2 Keesler 130s, a reserve unit that were flying out of Keesler. And then we also had an Air National Guard from Rhode Island, I believe, down at Lake Charles. So a lot of airlift down there and a lot of things going on to keep those guys happy. We had a lot of training going on. We had a lot of DLOs going on, but at the same time, we wanted to provide some DLOs and some training opportunities to those airlift units as well too, right? Because they join us because they have training requirements as well. So the fact that we got them their requirements, help them, help us, right? So we want to look at continuing to do something like that in the future. So we want to attempt to make the air crews happy, but at the same time, we want to make sure we get what we need for our training as well too. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, Sergeant Carbolito at Fort Polk, our 1 Charlie 1, running the ATC for the LZ down there. Obviously, a lot of rain issues, thunderstorm issues down at Fort Polk, but when we were able to get aircraft in, that's the reason that those aircraft were landing. And then Sergeant Jimenez at Camp Shelby, another 3 Delta doing good things, keeping the team communicated, the communications over there going. Obviously, that was our distant CRT. Those folks had to reach over to Lake Charles to stay in communication, and they had to reach back to the C2 node and AMD back here at McGuire. So appreciate everything that happened there. We do have a couple other folks we're gonna recognize at a higher level. So Staff Sergeant Reese, one of our porters at Alexandria, and Master Sergeant Rowe from Tropics, who helped set all this up. We'll get those two at a later date. Speaking of Tropics, so our group training and future ops, current ops, Captain Staunton, Senior Rodriguez, Master Sergeant Rowe, the rest of the team. Big round of applause for those folks for putting that exercise on. So basically, in the midst of about 3 to 4 months, they were able to take nothing. The cancellation of everything that happened since the beginning of COVID cancellations around mid-March, build something based off of intent and guidance, and then have that major exercise developed for the end of July. We knew if we built something, they would come, right? And so we had 2 CREs, 2 CRTs, we had AMAG participation, we had AMLO participation from the 34 CTS, and we had all the airlift participation. The reason that happened was because of Tropics and everything they put on and all the work they put into it leading up to that event. So really appreciate what they did for that. And then speaking of Swamp Devil in general, Obviously, we had a lot of concerns going into it, right? COVID was a big concern, not only for you, but for the family members as well too. What I'll say is we needed that, right? We had a lot of upgrades, a lot of training, a lot of proficiency requirements that we got pushed down, weren't able to conduct because of COVID ops ever since basically the middle of March. So I appreciate the fact that everybody, went there. We mitigated coronavirus to the max extent possible. I'm going to keep knocking on wood because so far so good, right? 0 at this point coming back from Swamp Devil. 0 ever since we went into the hunker down mode since the middle of March, right? I think we've had a couple of dependent spouses with positive test results, but every single active duty member in this group so far we're 0, right? And that's a testament to everything you're doing, wearing your mask, being socially distant, making the right choices when you're not at work, teleworking to the max extent, all those mitigation measures that we're using, they're working, okay? Now, with the upcoming alert cycle, we can say that those mitigation measures are working, and hopefully we can use the things that we did down at Swamp Devil and then put those forward if we have to go somewhere over the next 6 months while we're on alert. Speaking of the past 5 months, I think Chief hit on this a little bit. Obviously, mental health has been a major concern. We're not able to look everybody face to face over the last couple months, so we need to make sure, just like the Chief said, that we're still reaching out to our wingmen, to our fellow workers, to our spouses, to our dependents, to our extended family members, to our friends. We need to stay in touch, right? And one way we can do that, obviously, is rotating through the office, rotating through your work centers, and then just make sure that those connections that you had before this whole thing started continue. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, I suggest that you pick up the phone and you reach out to them, or you use social media or any other method that you like to use. But definitely keep an eye on those folks. Both coasts have had some mental health issues over the last couple weeks, so we just want to make sure that starting at the first line supervisor all the way up through the wing commander, we want to make sure that we're taking care of airmen, because that's our #1 job. So basically, appreciate everything you've done over the last 5 months. Obviously, there's no vaccine yet, so we got to keep doing these mitigation measures to the max extent possible. You can expect ops will pick up a little bit. Obviously, we've seen that with some of the GAMS taskings have started to pick up again. We pushed the 2 CREs, the 2 CRTs down to Swamp Devil. We've got a couple other exercises coming up. We've got a CRT going down to JRTC next month, and actually I think it's this month. And then we've got some other things going on with Agile Combat Employment Operations and other operations moving forward. So, SecDef pushed down some guidance about OPSEC, information security, insider threat, and there was a 4th one. All requirements that we have to do within 60 days of that notification, right? We get credit for the first one, okay? We get credit from that virtual training for OPSEC. We're trying to get you credit for the other 3, but right now, unfortunately, the guidance through the TMT says that we have to go online and take the CBT for those other 3. So what I need everybody to do is go clog up the bandwidth this afternoon, go to the CDSE website and take those other 3 CBTs, please. And then make sure you print your certificate and give it to your UTM, and then your UTM will go in and load ADLS that you've completed the training. If we find out that we can get credit for those other 3, we'll push that out as quick as possible. But right now, you need to get on the CDSE website and take those CBTs, please. That's being tracked all the way up to AMC and headquarters Air Force level, right? So obviously, we're gonna take numbers. We're gonna look at ADLS. We're gonna make sure everybody's got it done. And I think we're sitting at about 5% right now. But hopefully by the end of next week, we'll be at 60–70%. And we need to be at 100% before the 60 days expires. All right, looking out into the future, obviously we just got our OPSEC lesson, so I'm not going to dive too much into what's going on. We do know that it's an active hurricane season. All right, we've already had 6 or 7 named storms. We just had the tropical storm or hurricane roll up the East Coast just last week, reason that we've got power outages around. We can expect that there's probably going to be at least 12 to 24 more named storms the rest of this hurricane season. So what does that mean for us? Obviously, with the upcoming alert, we need to be ready, right? I just got back from the clinic this morning. I got 2 shots on my left arm, got blood drawn on my right arm, and went and did the ANAM test, all in the matter of about an hour and a half. So if I can do it, obviously you can do it. So please Remember my motto, get green, stay green. It's hard to do when they throw you in on alert and all of a sudden you turn red for a bunch of things, which is what happened to me. But I took the time and I went over and knocked that out real quick. So hopefully I'm up to speed. Lieutenant Colonel Johnson will call me out if I'm not. And what I need is everybody else that's on the alert or on the backup alert to please go get up to speed as well too. I think there's going to be a PDF next week, right? So the LRS is going to scrub your electronic and hard copy mobility folders, and they'll let us know how well we did. And then I believe the equipment's going to go through a CDF too as well, right? Okay. So enough said about alert. That's going to last for 6 months. Use or lose leave. If you have an opportunity to take it, you've got basically a month and a half left to take it. However, we all know that Headquarters Air Force has pushed out the guidance that because the leave was restricted over the past couple months, that we can extend or at least keep the use or lose leave that we've gained this year for a couple of years. However, if you have an opportunity to take leave, I encourage you to do it. And then while you're on alert, obviously if you're sitting on alert and you need to take leave, coordinate that through your supervision and your chain of command. And then if you're not on alert, please consider taking leave as well too. All right. Obviously the mitigation measures again are important. We've put about 100 folks on leave over the last couple weeks since the DoD has loosened up that guidance. There's some risk management that comes along with that. And your squadron commanders ultimately have to sign off on that. But I know it's happening. People are taking leave, so that's a good thing, and that's also helping, obviously, with the health concerns going forward. All right, let's see. Last but not least, I just wanted to say thanks. Okay. Obviously, I said thanks to Tropics for Swamp Devil, but I want to say thanks to everybody that participated in Swamp Devil. I know we had some concerns from some airmen leading up to it. Hopefully, we were able to either mitigate those concerns for you, or were able to let you swap out on the exercise. There's no retribution with that, obviously, right? I know people had concerns with family members, some higher risk dependents or spouses or whatever it may be. Hopefully we mitigated those concerns for you, but it's really important to realize that those mitigation measures worked, and we'll obviously use those going forward over the course of the next 6 months. So thanks for participating in the exercise. If you didn't participate in the exercise, thanks for doing what you're doing back here. Thanks for what you've been doing over the last 5 months to keep the group healthy. We are definitely in a good position going forward. It helps that we're here at JBMDL with the FCCR and the ROM requirements that everybody else that's not here has to go through. We're able to ROM at home for our folks that are doing their Cat 1 training. So what I'm seeing, at least at my level, is we're pushing a lot more airmen through for FCCR than most of the other CRGs in the world are doing. That could have an impact later down the road. Obviously, if it gets really busy for hurricane season, we may be in a better position than all the other CRGs to participate. Or when it comes to worldwide contingency ops, we may be in a better position to respond to that as well too, given our capacity numbers. So please maintain your proficiency, maintain your readiness, work with your supervisors, your chain of command if you have any other concerns. But again, thanks for everything you've been doing. I really appreciate it. Chief, you got an alibi?
I do. On that same topic, so probably several of you in this room, all right, have gotten an email from LRS about your chem gear, right? Because I saw the email because my name's on it. It's like 394 of us, not in this group, but on the base. So they are open Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. So if you're on that list, take your stuff over, get it inspected, or contact them to get extended. There are several of us in the group that are on that list. So if you got that email, don't just blow it off. Grab your stuff, go over there, get it extended so that you are ready to go. But they are open, no appointment necessary. Just walk in between those hours, okay?
Chief, did you get that email directly?
Yes.
Okay, so
it
it
is
got sent out
emailed
to everybody?
It is emailed directly to the members that are overdue. My name is on there.
All right. Last but not least, if you're not aware, Colonel Jackson's on leave right now. Chief Jenkins has moved over to the 82nd.
He gone.
87th Air Base Wing. Now he's the command chief for JBMDL. And the new command chief should be here next week.
Yeah, she should arrive on the
she's coming from
13th.
Ramstein, and she starts her ROM for 2 weeks starting next week. So just a little bit of over communication there, just for SA for the wing leadership purposes. But obviously everybody's interested in what you're doing and looking out and I know Colonel Jackson and Chief Dirksen, who's filling in as the wing command chief now, are thankful for everything that you did down at Swamp Devil and everything we've been doing over the last 5 to 6 months to stay healthy through these COVID ops. So obviously this group commander's call went a little faster than I thought it would, but that's okay. A little bit of non-standard, obviously, with the way we do quarterly awards and presentations of awards these days, but trying to stay healthy and keep everybody healthy. So thanks for coming. That's all I've got. Carry on.